Good evening from Mother India and here at Donju Getzeling Nunnery, broadcasting this segment every week called Love Rising, and hope that you're able to join. If you're not, we'll post these videos on a YouTube channel, and there will be more information coming up shortly that we'll leave on the Facebook page for you to be able to catch up if you've missed any of these segments. I know it's a little bit late for some of our friends in Australia and New Zealand. But anyway, if you're here, welcome. I don't really look to see who's listening. I'm giving this talk especially for you. If you're here, then happy that you're here. So the theme for this evening is called Love Rising. And this is now at a time on the planet that we really have to think seriously about love in many facets of its innate power for transformation. I've done some meditating recently on the word evolve, and if you take the first 4 letters and spell them backwards in evolve, it's the word love. So my idea is that what we're really here to do, at least in my life, what I'm really here to do is to evolve love. And I'm a Buddhist nun. I'm in the Tibetan Vajrayana tradition. And I believe that the Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, was attaining enlightenment and awakening because he was interested in evolving love. And Mother India has had so many wonderful examples of evolutionary, visionary, deeply altruistic, loving beings. Of course, Gandhi Ji, who just had his birthday on October 2nd, with his movement of ahimsa and karuna, nonviolence and compassion, loving kindness and vision to create massive social change. This is what we're needing right now very desperately on the planet, and from the ecology and the environment to politics and national leadership to just basic communication, how we're exchanging with one another, the tone of voice that we're using in our own dialogue with our dear and near ones, as well as with strangers, as well as with those of us that we maybe don't disagree with on whatever issues, and also with our own internal dialogue. What's the tone of voice that we're taking to ourselves? Is it a loving, kind tone? And is it something that's going to help us grow? So tonight's session is called Love Rising, Going Within, Growing Within. So from the Buddha Shakyamuni to Gandhi Ji, to other great spiritual leaders, Jesus Christ, Mother Teresa, His Holiness the amazing, incomparable 14th Dalai Lama, Martin Luther King Jr., there's so many that you've got your own personal favorites, I'm sure, but the main quality that they all share is that they had confidence. They had an inner confidence, and they had the courage of their convictions, and a courage that was born out of deep trust and deep conviction and love, and the love of altruistic happiness and wishes for well-being, not just for oneself, also for oneself, but not only for oneself, but extending that out for all sentient beings. So for our friends, for our strangers, for our near ones and dear ones, for our distant ones that we don't even know, as well as for those who we come in contact with, who we have difficulties with, who present challenges to us. Challenges around difference of opinions of politics, difference of opinions wherever they are on the importance of economics and how important it is to make money. Many people in the young generation in India and among the educated feel very pressured that they have to make a lot of money. So also to find inner peace and happiness, how some people find that through listening to music or surfing the web or watching a movie. Others find it taking a walk in nature, meditating, doing some cooking. We're just so vastly diverse, and that's our strength. That's the beauty. But first, it's important to contact inside in our own heart. What is the source that gives us the greatest sense of love, the greatest sense of personal evolution, of growing love within our own hearts and minds? This is where each of us must start. It's wonderful to have role models, to have teachers and masters and spiritual guides. Of course, that's wonderful. But in the end, we ourselves have to walk a path. This is what the Buddha said. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas cannot open up our minds and then put all of their wisdom and insights in. They can just be like a finger pointing the way, but we ourselves have to go on that way. So we have to do that with a confidence and a courage. We have to do that with a loving kindness and compassion and a deep conviction that we actually want to walk the path of love. We want to grow and evolve altruistic love to its highest degree in our own lives, in our own hearts and minds. Well, why? Well, because that's going to benefit oneself, definitely, to start with. And eventually, others will start to understand and notice, wow, she's really transformed. She's become a nicer being. I really enjoy to see her. I'm really feeling good in her presence. Or, geez, he used to be a bit angry, but he's showing a lot more patience these days. He's being much more compassionate. He's listening more. He's not interrupting. There are many habits that we need to look at that can then, we don't have to tell anybody that we're doing this kind of inner transformation. Actually, we shouldn't tell anybody. We do this for our own benefit, for our own self-satisfaction, and then to offer that as a gift out to the world selflessly. Selflessly means with altruism. So altruism is this kind of selfless wish that we talked about last week, about love being, I love you, therefore I want you to be happy. Not I love you, therefore I want you to make me happy. So we have to be very clear about what love really is. And Hollywood and Bollywood, they don't really get it. Sometimes they have nice stories, about altruistic topics. Like there's a good one called Pay It Forward that's about doing nice things for people and not telling them that you've done it. Eventually they find out who's done a very big kindness for them. And then they're asked, okay, now I did that for you, but you don't tell anyone that I did it, but you go do something like that for someone else. You pay it forward. So it doesn't mean paying even in money. It means paying an attention, paying an effort to bring about transformation for others. So this is the kind of love that we're talking about. It's not actually for a lot of people a very easy thing to connect with. So tonight, as part of our session, we're going to do a very simple loving kindness meditation. As I was opening it up on my other little device here, it opened up and it was saved under the topic loving kindness and then simple. And I thought, oh yeah, that's a good meditation. Let's go with that, because why make it difficult? Everything else in life is very complicated. Let's keep our meditation and our practice quite simple. But it also, then I saw once it opened up why it said simple. It said loving kindness simple for non-English speakers. Because before this whole pandemic came about, sometimes I was offering to fill in as a meditation teacher up at Tushita at the FPM Buddhist Center here, not here where I am, but not far from here, about an hour and a half up above McLeod Ganj. And so we try to use language that people can follow, that they can connect with, that their terms are not too difficult. And so for English speakers, obviously that would be good, but for people whose first language is not English, which I think some of you on Facebook, that's the case, then I thought this will be a nice meditation that we can take tonight as part of our practice to begin to, or continue, I hope continue, but for some of us to begin to grow more deeply connected with our own sense of loving kindness toward ourselves, and then towards our own courage, that we can grow that and extend that out in our own practice, first with our community, whoever that is, if you have a roommate, if you have neighbors, if you have a partner, if you have your family, you have colleagues. First you start just with those around you, and then eventually you can start, giving a little smile to a stranger on the street. They might look at you oddly, they might smile back. You can say good morning, namaste, or whatever, wherever you are. Say it from your heart with feeling, tashi dele. Although Tibetan Buddhists really don't say that very often, but anyway, they'll say it back to you if you say it. So But first, we just start with a small group of people who we really feel safe and connected with. Then we extend it out to strangers. And then eventually, we can work with that person, maybe who we see in our day to day, or maybe that person who is a particular politician that gives us challenges, or a colleague we work with who we say, oh, I really find myself feeling I don't like that one. Well, okay, maybe you don't like their behavior, but as human beings, we need to learn how to love everyone. This is the practice of altruistic love, is may all beings, just like I want loving kindness and happiness, every being wants that. Even the ones that are the most difficult, the most angry, the most seemingly self-serving, they want happiness too. So we need to know that we do not leave anybody outside of our love. It's very important. But eventually we get there. So at the beginning, if that thought overwhelms you and you can't even imagine that person that causes you the most heartache and headache and disagreement, you cannot start with practicing with that one. Don't. Just practice with the ones that are much easier, closer to you. Even if you just have your pet, usually people feel a lot of loving kindness and patience for their pet. Why do I say that? Well, if your pet has an accident and does a pee-pee on the floor or doo-doo, you say, oh, sorry, I didn't take you out for a walk if it's your little doggy. But if your girlfriend or boyfriend would do that on the floor, you'd look at them like they're crazy. What are you doing? You wouldn't have the same level of compassion. Okay, so why? Because we discriminate. We have expectations of how people should behave. We have a lot more patience for animals, a lot more forgiveness often for animals than we do for our own children, for our own partners, for our relatives, for our colleagues. Think about it. Is it true or not? In my case, I think it's true. I have a lot more patience. There's recently been a kind of it's called what is this creature? We don't have them in the US. It's like a weasel. Anyway, this long kind of furtive weasel that comes in, and it's looking for fruits, and sometimes it's leaving some pee-pee on the floor, and I clean it up, and and a mongoose, because I'm here in India, a mongoose. And and it's gotten in and gotten bananas and left them all over the kitchen. And it's funny because we're in a shared kitchen at the nunnery. So one morning I came, and during my retreat for the 3 months, I wasn't speaking, so I couldn't ask anyone, hey, what's going on with these bananas? Banana peels everywhere. So after the 3 months, I asked someone who's living here, hey, did you notice those bananas? The first morning I thought, I don't know what happened. The second morning I thought, someone's being really inconsiderate, leaving all these bananas around. I didn't understand it's a creature doing this. And then this friend said to me, oh yes, Dassel, I thought maybe you were doing it because I read somewhere that the banana peels attract the mosquitoes. And I thought, oh, Dassel must be doing this natural, keeping the mosquitoes happy with the banana peels. And so I'm not going to pick them up, which I thought was such a great reaction, because my thought was like, well, why is someone just doing this? Why are they being messy? Can't they pick up the banana peels? So she had a very positive spin on it. I had a very dubious, questioning, little judgmental spin on it. And then at the end, I saw the creature come in and saw it's a mongoose, and they like these bananas, and it's actually this mongoose. So this is how our mind works. It jumps around. If we stay open-hearted, if we stay kind towards everything equally with loving kindness, it will not discriminate. It will not get judgmental. It will not assign blame. It will not get angry that the banana peels are left like that. We just clean them up and take care of them. And then we have curiosity. So we meet life with curiosity, with an open-hearted curiosity. That's not always easy, of course, if we're talking about something like racism, when people are being judgmental because of the skin color. They're just judging our precious being based on some superficial idea of discrimination in their minds based on fear. Really all phobias of racism or homophobia, sexism, nationalism, these are just fears that build up in the mind that separate things into groups. It's a duality of seeing I versus you, we versus they. It's a very mistaken way of interpreting reality, but unfortunately, it's a very familiar way that people become trained and educated and socialized either through their families or through wrong kind of materials that they've read that give bad ideas that then stay very strongly in our mind stream. And so people divide. Here in India, they've divided for a long time into caste systems that Gandhiji worked really hard to get rid of. But even today, you still find the Dalits, this idea of people, human beings who are called untouchables. For those of you who don't know, who aren't in India and don't know about Indian history, a whole category of human beings called untouchable, which in my mind stream is unthinkable. Unthinkable. So everybody's worthy of love. Everybody's worthy of equal compassion, loving kindness, the wish for their happiness, and for connection. But these are not just intuitively common sense ideas for everybody. Why? Because they're very influenced based on their situations that they're born into. So obviously, skin, the color of the skin is not, if I say me or I have this color skin, you might look at your skin and say, oh yes, I have kind of a browner skin, or I have a black skin, or I have an even whiter skin. But each of us could say, if we ask the question, am I my skin color? Is that really who I am? If I think of my own essence of my being, we'd say, no, that's ridiculous. My skin color is just some pigments that came through biology. So we wouldn't say that's the human being, the color of the skin. But because of different situations people are in, they often judge very quickly just based on someone's skin color. And that's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate, but that can be changed, that people can be taught to question, why would I think that way? Oh, that's not true, because if that person's asked, are you really just your skin color? They would have to eventually, if they could have a good conversation, say, no, actually, that would be silly to think that my whole being is just based on this color of the skin. There are deeper ideas underneath these fears. And those deeper ideas that are based on fear are what create duality. They create separateness. They create the sense of categorizing and labeling. But if we look at labels, they're just words, they're just concepts. They don't have any deep existence anywhere other than in the minds that believe in labels. If we drop the labels and we look for commonality, which is what we did last week, we looked at these 4 immeasurable qualities: the wish for happiness, loving kindness, the wish for compassion, never to have suffering, the wish to never be out of the state of mind of sorrowless joy, this joy that's immeasurable, that only has joyful expression and never knows, even hears the sound of suffering. And we hold that all in equanimity, meaning equally for self, for other, in a unified oneness of humanity. The other could be someone we feel good about. The other could be someone we don't know at all, a stranger. The other could be someone who we feel is a little bit disagreeable because of whatever way they've spoken to us in the past, or behaviors, or maybe some aggression that their ideas create. We might feel a little bit, I don't want to say that the person's my enemy, but the way they behave, we might label that they're our enemy. But it's not the person, it's just their behavior. And the behavior can be dropped, and we can meet that person. May you be happy, may you be free. So we can drop the label of friend, enemy, and stranger and just replace it with an even-hearted love and kindness and compassion, with equanimity, with joy. And so this is where we want to go with our loving kindness meditation. This is when we look within, we need to identify where we need to do a little bit of growing, inner growth, going within, growing within. So maybe some thoughts, sometimes we do have some racist thoughts in our mind stream, and we think, geez, that's strange. I don't know where that came from. We have to be honest about it with ourselves. Where's our learning curve? Maybe we have some sexism thoughts. Maybe we feel women are superior to men. or maybe some men think men really are superior to women. We have to check. And sexism, generally, we would say it's only a group in power that can feel sexist, but it's not true. It's not about the group in power. It's about your own personal feeling in this case. I'm talking about your own bias, your own personal bias. So you may be more biased to thinking, women are superior to men. You may be more biased in thinking men are superior to women. You may be more biased in thinking my dog is more superior to that human being, or my cat is more superior to another human being. You might have that bias because your cat's more agreeable or your dog is more agreeable. They're wagging their tail and always happy and kind for you, and that other human being is often giving you difficulties. So you have a bias. But in the end, every living being is the same in wanting happiness and not wanting suffering. Every living thing is the same in doing better when we extend compassion and the wish for their loving kindness through our body, through our speech, and through our mind. And then we have joy together. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that wonderful? And so we need to look inside our own mind. Where can we bring more equanimity? That genuine wish. You see behind me this Buddha Akshobhya. You can see this blue Buddha. Part of his name translates to mind unshaken. Mind, the mind, M-I-N-D, the mind unshaken. He is also called Mitrukpa. The Buddha whose mind in every realm remains unshaken, completely full of inner qualities, altruism, compassion, loving kindness, equanimity, joy, and never moves from those four immeasurable qualities. This is where we'd like to go. Anyway, this is my trip. This is where I would like to go. I'm driving the bus. I'm inviting you to join. So I'm steering and practicing very carefully, very quietly, often in my own practice, looking for where do I need to find my growing curve, my inner growth. So going within, growing within, that's what meditation is. And so, we can have other kinds of biases too. Maybe you say, oh, I don't really have any of those. You can think maybe you're biased against age. Maybe you prefer a certain age group of people. Maybe you prefer a certain nationality group of people. I don't know. You just look carefully to see and be very genuinely honest about it. Maybe you say, geez, I really don't find any biases, but then look for yourself. Look for your personal behaviors. Are you feeling anxious? Do you have doubt? Do you not trust yourself? Is your self-confidence wavering? Are you impatient with yourself? Do you have self-criticism? You can also work with these kinds of biases. Judgment, any judgment. Like last week I was talking with my sister, who obviously is my lifelong friend. She's 2 years younger than me, so we've been very close friends our whole life. And she said, how are you? I said, well, I'm feeling a little bit like I'm lazy these days. She said, geez, I think many people who know you, and I'll say this as your lifelong friend, I could say many descriptive things about you, but lazy wouldn't be one of them. Can you think of another word? So I was thinking, and I said, no, I feel a little bit lazy, even though I'm working here at the nunnery 6 days a week and enjoying and doing my practice, and I did this 3-month meditation. Still, sometimes I feel a little nagging sense like, why are you so lazy? Come on, you're wasting a little bit too much time. I don't know, eating or going out for a walk or looking at the news on the computer, something. I just feel like somehow my potential, that I have more potential I want to live up to. And she said, but can you think of another way to reframe that? Instead of lazy, I mean, what's another word? And finally I said, I guess I just need to relax about it. And she said, oh, relax. That's another way to express, needing to take time instead of judging it and saying lazy, relax. And then she said, and when we say the term like lazy and there's judgment, maybe we need to have more kindness toward ourselves. And I said, oh, that's funny because I was up on top of the temple And we have these deer that sit on top of all the Buddhist temple. These two deer that face each other are part of the sign of Buddhism, and there's the Dharma wheel in the middle. And I noticed one of the deer had a little unicorn, and I didn't know there were unicorn deer, but apparently, back in the day where these mythological creatures really lived in the mind streams of people, we had a unicorn deer. So sometimes I go up and hang out and spend a little time with the unicorn deers up on top of the temple. And the deer for me, because where I'm from in the United States, we have many beautiful deer that would walk, when I had a farm, would walk through the farm. And whenever I'd see them, I'd feel very peaceful because they're very gentle. So I said to my sister, "Oh, the deer, it's so gentle." She said, "Yes, gentle." And I said, "Oh, gentle relaxation. Great, gentle relaxation, yes." So this past week, she said, "Just be aware of that." I said, "Okay, my practice will be gentle relaxation awareness." So that's what I worked with more this last week. And it got my body and my mind feeling much more loving, much more kind, much more compassionate. So, I'm giving you this example so that you can craft your own practice, how you want to work with the loving kindness meditation we're going to be, and how you're wanting to work with one kind of quality that you're going to transform between this Sunday to next Sunday. So I did that. I think it was Tuesday I talked to my sister. So yes, for this week, gentle relaxation awareness was my practice. And now it's not only for that week. Now I'm going to keep that going, and I'm going to identify another practice, and I'm going to continue to weave and grow these practices to allow my meditation to be flowing in every part of my day. Meditation is, our life is our practice. Meditation is not just sitting on the cushion or just listening to a teacher. Every moment of our life is our practice. So we need to enjoy it, look forward to it, be inspired by it, have enthusiasm. Maybe that's going to be my next one. We have joyful diligence is one of our practices in Buddhism. Joyful effort, so enthusiasm, really loving that we have this opportunity. So now we've got this essence of how we're going to, go into bringing something that really can help us change our minds, change in the sense of evolving love, loving to evolve, and really, look forward to it in a practical and beneficial way for ourselves and for all others. So before we do that, okay, good, we have our time. Yeah, we'll do that. And then we'll end with a little parable. Like I did last week, we did the parable of the dog nose, of not seeing the bad situations, not seeing the difficult, but seeing the opportunity, seeing the goodness that's right in front of us, the ability. Okay, I'm just seeing that there are some people here, so that's great. Okay, so here's our meditation for now. Loving kindness simple. That's how we're going to think of this meditation. Loving kindness simple. Number one, be very comfortable. I'm sitting on this little bench here. I've got my legs crossed. I'm going to just adjust the cushion a bit. The first and most important thing in our meditation is please be very comfortable always. That's showing loving kindness to yourself, to your body. We don't need to sit cross-legged. If you're more comfortable, sit in a chair with your feet down and keep your feet flat on the floor. And just the most important thing is sit up a little bit. You probably notice now I'm a little taller, sitting up so that the spine is straight. I find that I hunch over a little bit looking at this computer because I'm new at this and I'm really trying to make contact with you. So I'm looking at the camera, I hope, in a good way, that you feel like I'm looking at you, talking to you. But be comfortable however you're sitting. But make sure the spine is nice and straight, nice and straight. Let's start with the 9 breathing meditation. This is very good. Part of the tradition of opening the inner channels. So we're going to hold our fingers like this right underneath our ring finger. This has a little meridian for purification. Then close your fists. This is a meditation His Holiness the Dalai Lama does that we all, I say we as Buddhists, but definitely in Vajrayana Buddhism, many of us are doing. It's part of a yoga called the Yogas of Naropa. It's very good. So we close this, and this is for purification of the inner channels. Stick your hands out in front of you. Then the right hand, hit a little bit right under the armpit, hit. And then take the left hand, left finger, we're going to close the left nostril, turn, look to the left, breathe through the right one. And as you breathe in, imagine green light coming in. Fill the whole body, and then close the right nostril, and exhale, and imagine blue light coming out. We're going to do that 2 more times. Breathe in, green light through the right nostril. Close the right, breathing in through the left, close the right, breathe out, blue light. Close the left, last time breathe in through the right, green light. Close the right, breathe out, blue light. Okay, now back to the middle, hands out in the front. Left hand with the fist, a little bit of a hit underneath the armpit on the right. Right hand, close the right nostril with the finger. Breathe in through the left, green light. Close the left, breathe out through the right, red light. Close the right, breathe in through the left, green light. And close the left, breathe out, kind of pinkish light now. Close the right, breathe in through the left. The green light. Close the left, breathe out through the right, pinkish light. Now back to the middle, hands out, now down, hands will come down, I'll show you here, onto your thighs. Still you're pressing like this, at this meridian, on the thighs. Now we're breathing in through both nostrils, evenly, slowly. Breathing in through the nostril, imagine up over the head, down through the body. Get the breath into the whole body as much as you can. Now we're breathing in blue light. And as we exhale, we imagine through the top of the head, smoke coming out. So we're opening our central channel. Breathing in, blue light. Breathing out forcefully through the nose, imagining smoke coming straight up through the central channel. Breathing in. Bright, clear blue light and green. Sorry, first do the green. Then exhale. As you exhale, imagine the green light is merging and it's kind of turning, I think of like aquamarine color blue, then the smoke pushing all the way up through the top and the blue light replacing the smoke. Smoke is just any blockage in the central channel, any kind of obstacles, any kind of stuck energy. It's all coming out in the form of smoke through the top of the head. We're visualizing. Last time, breathing in. Not last time breathing in, but for the central channel. Breathing in. In the whole body, get all the breath as deeply into the whole body as you can, down through the legs, and then concentrate it here in the diaphragm, filling up this part, or you could say the dantian, okay, right here. And then forcefully letting it come shooting up, expelling any stuck energy, negativities, whatever, in the form of smoke through the crown of the head. Now we're going to relax the hands, put them just gently straight out, like so on the knees. Straight out. And we're going to just take a few deep breaths, just enjoying the open breath. Now we've opened some of the subtle channels. Maybe you need to blow your nose, that's fine. I do this practice often. It becomes more and more clear the more frequently you do it. I recommend you do it first thing in the morning. Whether you're meditating or not, you should try to spend a few minutes just getting your channels open. It's really good for your health, really good for your clarity. So just take a few nice breaths now. All your channels are open. You're breathing through the central channel. Now try to breathe from the base, from your diaphragm, which is about 4 finger lengths beneath your belly button, coming straight up, and let the breath come straight to here, what we call the third eye, okay? Try to see if you can open that. Just have a sense of the breath moving to this point, and then kind of a nice blue light. Indigo blue. Our eyes are almost all the way closed. We're keeping them open just a little bit. Just a little bit. I can still see out in front just a little bit, but enjoying the breath, really concentrating now on the full breath coming into the body and the sensation of being an open vessel, clean, clear inside, like we just took an internal shower. Okay, so continue on with that breath, and I'm going to do the guided meditation now. So your eyes should be anywhere from halfway closed to 3/4 closed, a very gentle gaze down in front of you. If it helps you more for the guided meditation, you can close your eyes all the way. Whatever helps you stay within your own experience, going within, growing within. Loving kindness, simple. We begin this session by cultivating loving kindness for ourselves. We are often not very good at really being kind and loving towards ourselves. And this is especially true for Westerners, people who have been brought up in a Western culture. We often have unrealistic expectations about ourselves, which we often cannot live up to. And because we do not live up to them, we generate a lot of negative self-talk. So it is really important to learn to care for our own hearts in a kind and loving way. So begin by thinking about your own well-being and happiness. Ask yourself this question: what would make me truly happy? What would bring me the kind of happiness that cannot be affected by outside circumstances? What are my heart's desires? What would bring me a sense of fulfillment? What would bring meaning to my life? What would bring me a deep sense of satisfaction? Really try to get as detailed as possible. Then I want you to try to imagine the natural purity of your own heart. The natural purity that resides in all hearts is within your heart. Imagine this purity as a kind of unconditional love. Then imagine this love forming into a ball of white light at center of your chest. It can be as small as a pearl or as large as you wish. And take your time with the meditation. This session will end at 8, so we're going to be practicing this guided meditation for about 10 or 12 more minutes. So take your time to really feel and experience. With every breath coming in, imagine filling this ball with more love. Then with every breath going out, imagine this ball of light at your heart, filling your entire body, pervading your mind and your entire being. It should feel so good. Just invite yourself, when you connect, to let it keep feeling so good. This ball of light at your heart is filling your entire body, pervading your mind and your entire being. Each time you breathe in, it's getting larger, more expansive, more full of love. Just keep lighting it up, lighting it up, lighting it up. Now with each out-breath, think, may I find happiness in all the causes of happiness. Really wish this for yourself. It's not selfish to want happiness. It's very healthy. And with each in-breath, again, imagine this ball of light filling your entire being. Lighting up, lighting up, lighting up. And now with each out breath, you can invite all of your problems to flow out, getting rid of everything that stops you from feeling love. Imagine all negative feelings toward yourself or anything else that keeps you from fulfilling your heart's happiness just disappears, vanishes from all the power of this light filling your body. Now imagine, because you are no longer held back by anything, because you're full of the light of love, you can fulfill all of your wishes and aspirations. Really try to generate this feeling within yourself. This is how we grow our confidence and the courage of our beliefs, the courage of our convictions. Whatever you aspire to, whatever you dream of, you can fulfill. As one of our dear teachers, Lama Zopa, says, everything exists on the tip of the wish. As you breathe in, imagine your entire being is completely saturated, soaked up. This love and light of loving kindness, of natural purity. Enjoy it. Connect with it. As we're doing the meditation, it's like we're plugging our cord back into the power of our true essence, and we're lighting up. And we're doing it just using the power that we all have of our own intelligence and our innate wisdom to reconnect with our true nature. Whatever you want to call that. We don't even need to call it anything. The light of love. So you breathe inward, imagining your entire being completely saturated by this light of loving kindness, natural purity, and now turn your direction and attention outwards. Imagine this ball of light at your heart is now overflowing to the point you no longer contain it. You don't even want to contain it. It's beaming, radiating loving light out every pore of your being, every cell, streaming forth pure crystal loving kindness light in all directions. Ooh, you're lit up. I can feel it. Can you feel it? Feels wonderful. You're all radiating. I feel like you're just zapping me right here. Up in the Himalayas at the nunnery. It's just charging, supercharged. Wonderful. Wonderful. We can't even have voltage or wattage measurements for this. Keep going. Pouring out of you in all directions. Now think of someone who's very dear to you, a loved one, a friend, a relative. Bring their image into your mind. Really try to focus on this person. Try to imagine now that they're standing right in front of you. Then ask them, what are your deepest desires? What is it that you wish for? What are your wishes or your happiness, your aspirations, your hopes? And what happiness do you seek? Then with every out-breath, let the light from your heart flow out. Imagine it embracing that individual. With every out-breath, think, may you, like myself, always be truly well and happy. May you find genuine happiness. May you have all that you need to experience a sense of well-being. May you truly realize your heart's desire and cultivate the causes to have what you want most in life. With each out-breath, imagine this person finding joy. See them happy, feel them happy. See them content, feel them content. See them fulfilled, feel happiness for their fulfillment. Now allow this person to fade back into the space of your mind. And now let your awareness simply be open. See if anyone just comes to mind, comes knocking at the door of your heart. And as soon as they come to mind, invite them in. And focus closely and just continue again to send out. May you be happy. May you find genuine happiness. May you have all that you need to experience a sense of well-being. May you realize your heart's desire and cultivate the causes to have what you want most in life. And with each out-breath, imagine this person finding joy. See and feel them happy. See and feel them content. See and feel them experiencing them being fulfilled. And now let's open our awareness in all directions, thinking of all Mother Sentient beings. And again, send these heartfelt intentions and love and light in all directions with the genuine wish, may all beings like myself be truly well and happy. May we all find genuine happiness. May we all have what we need to experience a sense of well-being. May we all realize our heart's desire and cultivate the causes to bring together the causes to have what we wish for most in life. And visualize all of us everywhere around the planet, finding joy, living with happiness, feeling contentment, and being completely fulfilled. And now release all these thoughts and aspirations. Just be aware of your awareness. Let your awareness rest in its own natural luminosity and purity. And now, as we conclude, try to set the intention that you want to maintain awareness of your breath as you move throughout your day or your night. You want to maintain awareness of the flow of your breath, to practice mindfully the body, being in connection with breath, being comfortable. And as often in the coming week as you can, as you're breathing in and out, try to bring some intention. Breathing in the light of love, breathing out the light of love, and lighting up your world with the light of love. So we'll finish this meditation now, and we'll conclude this session. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know I have. I can hear the nuns outside in the background, the young nuns starting their chant, so I know it's 8 o'clock in the evening here at the nunnery. And I'm not going to keep you. I appreciate your precious time, and I hope that it's felt like a good use of your time to spend this time together. I know for me it's felt really wonderful. So I want to just share one last little piece of magic that I had sitting under the Bodhi tree earlier today here at the nunnery. And I want us to think about this also this week. Here's one of our Bodhi leaves. It's quite big, as you can see. We have a few Bodhi trees that are from the original one in Bodh Gaya growing here at the nunnery, at just Jetsumala's nunnery. So if we look at it this way, we can see the shape and the form, and we can see the color and its reflecting light. But if we look with a light from behind it, if I can bring it closer, you can start to see amazing, amazing, amazing interconnections of all the different kind of veins inside the leaf. When I was watching it with the sunshine earlier today, just blew my mind how beautiful and amazing is nature. And it's a beautiful metaphor within this one leaf from the Bodhi tree of the deep interconnection, these kind of deep networks. Trying to get it so you can really see that detail. It's fantastic. It's magical. If we just look at things on the surface, they look one way. And we might become used to seeing life that way. There might be some magic that strikes us from now and then, but it might be appearing very ordinary. But it's not ordinary. It's extraordinary. Life is extraordinary. Live an extraordinary life. May all beings benefit. May all beings be free of suffering and its causes. May they find true, lasting happiness that's unshaken by outer conditions. May they find sorrowless bliss and abide in equanimity with loving kindness for all. Be well, be happy. See you next Sunday. Have a great week. Thank you very much for spending this time together.